Week 15 NFL action. It is Sunday right here on sportsbookreview.com. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Kyle Purviance, and we got a 1-hour show to give you all the information you need to make more informed decisions on this card today. A lot of inactives, Kyle, a lot of movement. Let's kick it off. 1 hour, baby.
Week 15, and it's a good Saturday already. We got off to a hot start there. Got some easy money live betting with Donnie on Twitter. I enjoyed all that. And my favorite part, 2 weeks in a row now, a young NFL coach has it figured out. They know, hey, we got to save the time, kick the field goal here. Then you get the moron announcer saying, I don't understand that. Well, because you don't understand basic math. I've been screaming about that for years. Brian Flores, Matt Rule, made me really excited for today. You know, it's Christmas time, the season of giving. So hopefully we can give out some winners today. And thank you to everyone in the chat box already waiting on us. It's always cool to see all that as well.
No, it's great stuff. And also, like, today is like the Jackson Pollock day. I am painting by numbers out here with easy victories. If you listen to me and Kyle during the week, the Tuesday and the Thursday show, just real quick yesterday, it was really hard to see Green Bay and the Buffalo Bills losing those games. Now, it might have got a little bit close at the end for that Carolina game, but they were really in command, the Green Bay Packers, all the way through. The Broncos, I mean, look, if you're putting your money on Drew Lock, you got exactly what you deserve. That is a red-hot Buffalo Bills team. So those were fun games to have as that little appetizer heading into Sunday afternoon action. Thank you guys for tuning in. Already 100 people here live in the chat box, which is great. We're going to kick it all the way through. 77,000 people have actually hit that subscribe button here to our YouTube channel at sportsbookreview.com. Thank you guys for doing that. The game, David, Eric, Deanna, Emza, Nimis, Matthews, Cavalcanti, Mendonça. So there you go. How about that? I'm trying to get it all the way through. James, Stacy, Cody Ashworth. Let's get it through because we got 1 hour to get through and a lot of moving parts. But as I said again, we're going to filter through and go through these games, Kyle, the same way we do each and every game. There's only a couple really big games. But again, we are gamblers. We're not picking who's going to win the game. It's who's going to cover the point spread. Let's kick it off. 341, 342. Houston and Indianapolis. When we take a look at this game, it's all about Deshaun Watson for me, Kyle. If he puts in a Herculean effort, they have a chance. But I immediately think back, and you guys watch the show all the time, in a dome is where I want Phillip Rivers. This is in a dome. He's not going to face a weaker defense than what he's going to see today. If this team, the Colts, consistently puts up high 20s, 30s, and even 40 points, there's no reason to believe that's not going to be the case today. And you're asking, because simple question, like we like to break it down in its easiest terms in this game.
Yeah.
If Indianapolis is going to touch 30, Houston better go off. And who are they going off with? Just their quarterback?
Exactly. That's the real problem here. Now, early in the week, I've kind of gone back and forth. Do I think the Colts win? Absolutely. But if I'm betting the Colts, I want to get it under a touchdown. I kind of went back and rewatched that game from a couple weeks ago. I do think Houston can cover here, and I do think they can keep up. The Colts defense is not, the same dominant defense they were early in the year. Now, Houston, they're just decimated everywhere. Their secondary is absolutely terrible. One of their worst corners is going to be out again today. Now, Phillip Gaines is out. Duke Johnson's out. I like that Brandon Cooks is playing. I do think Houston can keep this within about a touchdown. Betting the Colts, I would buy it down to 6 or 6.5. Still like the Colts here. I don't think you're crazy for taking them at 7. They're clearly the better football team with a lot more to play for. But I won't be surprised if Houston keeps this one close. And then I look at that total, that 51.5, and you just mentioned it. I do expect the Colts to get to the high 20s or 30s today. Yeah. But I look at that team total for Houston. I'm looking at it at 21.5, wish it was 20.5. I really do wish I had that extra point. But I think they can get there. I think they can put up an honest effort. Deshaun Watson tends to play pretty well against the Colts. So I think this is, 27, 24, 28, 24 makes a whole lot of sense. I think that total is just about right. I would lean the over, and I would actually lean the Houston to cover this one, buying a few points if I take the Colts.
Yeah, Houston down, you're already talking about Phillip Gaines, who's a terrible cornerback, and also John Reed. So there's not much resistance on the back end. Also, limited and explosive players. You're getting a wide receiver two-back being Brandon Cooks for the Houston Texans. You're losing Duke Johnson, that third down satellite back. So we'll see how that plays into it. But also looking at the Indianapolis Colts, we were worried about maybe DeForest Buckner not going. He's up. And again, during the week, as we were checking on, Darius Leonard was banged up. He's full go, as well as Xavier Rhodes. They're as healthy as you can get. And also, let's take a look at last week. Anthony Costanzo was more, obviously the very good left tackle for the Colts was more in that emergency role. If you need me, I can come in and give you some reps. This week looks like he's full go as well. So when we're looking at teams heading in the right direction, And the narrative that we're going to spell out this week also, Kyle, is when you look at these games, who has to win and who's just like, dude, Christmas is next week. Let's go on the road, see what happens, and come back home. Indianapolis needs this football game. They'll get it today. And you're right. You can see a lot of these lines changing. Pinnacle opens up at a 7. They're now at a 7.5 slight juice. Chris offshore at 7. Some of the New Jersey outlets hitting the 7. That's a big number. So if you like Houston, obviously do your best to shop around and get that 7.5. But if you do like the Indianapolis Colts, those 7s are prevalent across the board. Colts should be able to win this game and win this comfortably for me. And comfortably means by about 10 points. But you're right. Deshaun Watson, late in the game, he can make some moves. He's on turf. But those weapons are limited. The Colts full go. I think they have a pretty good day here on offense. And again, comes down to it. If I expect the Colts to get 31, 32, 34 points in that range, which they should, that means you're going to have to get at least, 27 points out of Houston, which means Deshaun Watson's going to have to go berserk in this game. Let's keep going here. Some interesting inactive reports here. How about Matthew Stafford? I got to tell you, the guy must be bionic because earlier in the week, he couldn't throw a pass. He could barely breathe and stand up. So we all factor in. You see the numbers come out there, opens up at 9.5, quickly goes to 11 because it looks like we're going to get a backup quarterback and not much else for the Detroit Lions on offense. Then Friday comes around, rolls out on the practice field, and here we are Sunday, active and ready to go. It's going to be a matter of pain tolerance, getting the needle in the ribs to see how he can do it, which again, it doesn't mask everything, and it's there, and he'll be heavily, flak jacketed up throughout his rib cage. But that line drops from where it was at 11 down to 8 at some spots, primarily 9s, over under 53.5, 54. I got to tell you, I see the over under going up. And look, Matthew Stafford is going to give an honest effort here. But is this a game, Kyle, where we're the Detroit Lions 7-step dropping him and throwing bombs with those rib injuries? Or are we looking to maybe get the ball to DeAndre Swift, keep it on the ground, try to keep it close and steal it late? I actually lean towards the under just because of Matthew Stafford in this game.
Yeah, exactly. I was shocked that he's going to play, but that dude is tough. I remember it was, 5-6 years ago, he separated his right shoulder and threw a 2-point conversion with his left arm. I mean, this guy is tough. He's going to gut it out. Now, I can't pick a better defense to be hurt as a quarterback to go against than Tennessee. They have absolutely no pass rush to speak of. It does look like Adoree Jackson's going to suit up a little bit here for the Titans. Now, I don't know how much he's going to play, but it's a good idea for them to get him ready for the postseason because when he's healthy, he is by far their best defensive back, and they need it because that secondary has been dreadful. Now, you're right. The total goes from, 51.5 up to we're seeing 54s and 53.5. I think Tennessee wins this game pretty easily. Honestly, like a 34-17 game will not surprise me here. I think they win by more than 2 touchdowns. They should be able to do whatever they want on offense. Detroit secondary, absolutely terrible. They're one of the worst teams in the league at stopping the run. Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, they should all eat in this game. How healthy will Matthew Stafford be? Will he be able to sustain after that first hit if he gets hit? Because Tennessee obviously can't rush the passer. But I just don't know that we see a ton of offense from Detroit. I think you're right. I think they rely on that running game a little bit, try to protect Stafford. There's no reason to go out and get your franchise quarterback killed in a game that means absolutely nothing on the road in Tennessee. So I like Tennessee here. I like them easily. I don't mind the 8.5s, the 9s. I'm seeing with some weird juice, 10.5 at Bet Online. I'm probably staying away from that now, although early in the week, I thought it was for sure it was going to be Chase Daniel. I never would have guessed that Stafford was going to try to play in this game, so I took it at 11. Tennessee should still get it done. I'm with you. I lean the under. I think 54 is just a little too rich for my blood. I'll lean the under there, but I like the Titans pretty easily in this game. Should be a cakewalk from the beginning. And if you're betting Tennessee, you don't want the huge number, just take the first half. Just take the first half. They should be up at the half. Big bubbles, no troubles. I like the Titans.
I actually like it opposite. And here's why in that. And again, this is a great game to live bet. And the reason is we know when you get that shot at, let's just say it's a 12 o'clock or let's use 1 o'clock game kickoff East Coast, right? He'll probably get that needle at about 11:45, 12 o'clock. It wears down. It wears down. Similar to Novocaine, like we talk about having pain, similar to loading up on Advil. Is he going to want to be throwing late in that game, or how accurate is he going to be, Kyle, at about 3:45 when they might be down 2 touchdowns in this game? And you're like, ooh, man, I took 4 shots already. I'm already feeling it. Instead of throwing that laser that he can 40 yards downfield, maybe he just dumps it off into the flat, or maybe he just throws it away and looks for another day. Because, again, it's another game that the common theme here is when we get to week 15, what is Detroit really playing for here other than draft position? They're not going to hire their interim coach. They're going to go on a wide search. They're looking for a GM. Matthew Stafford's in the back of his head going, I got a wife and kids at home, and I do want to play next year. So what's that effort going to be like late in the game? So if I'm looking at Detroit in this game, I'm actually looking first half to hang around and see what they have, because I think if the dam breaks early, it's a wrap on Detroit. So we'll see how that plays out. But again, not a great game on my card here, but just some interesting thoughts that, because we like to talk around some of these games to see if you can give yourself that added bonus or added edge. And Chris showing a 54, I actually think the under goes down here on this. So welcome in, guys. 260 people watching in the chat box. If you miss anything on our network here, specifically on the YouTube channel here with sportsbookreview.com, you can hit that link below, sbrpicks.com/NFL. Get in the Pick Six contest, which I'm already, look, we haven't even got the Sunday, Kyle, and I'm 2-0 already in the Pick Six contest here. So
like it.
Headed in a good direction. Let's keep going here. Another game, same prognostication, 351, 352. Kyle, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady need this game. Atlanta on the opposite side, playing for pride in the division. Raheem Morris is saying, hey, look, I can be the head coach of this football team. Look at the way we've been playing down the stretch. We're being competitive. Next week, we'll gear up. We'll hit the free agent market. Maybe Julio Jones will play more than 3 snaps the next season, and we'll see how it plays out. But this game opened up at 4, quickly moved up, 6.5s, now seeing some 7s across the board. The over-under is dropping in this game, Kyle, and I do agree with it. 51.5 now to 49.5. And it's not because if you look at Tampa Bay's offense, you know they got the weapons on the outside, right? They should be able to score some points. But just that Atlanta offense now without Julio Jones and Matt Ryan continuing, looks like his arm is deteriorating right in front of us. I don't see the big plays, and there should be a decent pass rush coming from Tampa Bay, which when you're an older quarterback without your go-to weapon in Julio Jones, sometimes things get a little bit scary there. But I have to say, if that number hits 7, which is sitting at Bet Rivers here in New Jersey, that's an interesting number because 6.5 is much more palatable if you're looking to take the favorite here in the Buccaneers to get a win and get out of town. I do think the Atlanta Falcons put up a fight here. If I can get the 7, I actually would take the Falcons. But again, going against that notion where one team is trying to scrape, claw, and just bleed into the playoffs, where the other one is like, hey, in 3 weeks, we're going to be able to go to, I don't know, Aruba and hang out.
Yeah, exactly. At 6.5, I like Tampa Bay. And I wanted to take over every game for Atlanta this year. The secondary's bad. Now you're bringing Kendall Sheffield back into the mix, so they can't cover anybody. And they've been playing better the last few weeks, but now you bring Kendall Sheffield in. Mike Evans should feast on Kendall Sheffield on the outside today. So I actually – and then Atlanta's offense – even when they play bad defenses, Matt Ryan is not the same Matt Ryan. Now you take that big playability of Julio Jones away. Obviously, no Ronald Jones for Tampa Bay, so it's going to be the Leonard Fournette and a little bit of LaShawn McCoy in the backfield there. So I like the under on this game. Atlanta's been playing to unders. I don't know how much of an effort you get from that offense. They're not going to be able to run the football on Tampa Bay. So even though Tampa Bay's secondary has certainly regressed over the last several weeks, I think it's just too difficult for them to score. I like Tampa Bay in this one. You know, a 28-17, 28-14 game makes a whole lot of sense here. I think Tampa Bay gets it done. But you're right. If that moves to 7 or 7.5, then I might be looking the other way because, you know, even though Tampa Bay got us the cover last week against a bad Minnesota team, or, you know, not a great Minnesota team, I should say, if it wasn't for the struggles of Dan Bailey, Minnesota could have won that football game. We lucked out and Tampa Bay got the cover. So Tampa Bay is a bit of an enigma. Tom Brady, the deep ball with him has not been great this year. I know he hit the one to Scotty Miller last week, but other than that, he's been pretty. Hey, Scotty Miller bringing the pain. And just for the record, for a prop bet, I took Derrick Henry over 6.5 receiving yards in that Detroit-Tennessee game. One little screen pass out of the backfield for 7 yards. I think that's too easy. It was minus 105. So if you're looking for a little prop bet, I like that as well. But this one, I'm going to take the Bucs while it's at 6.5. I just don't trust the Falcons. And like you said, Tampa Bay's got something to play for here. They need the win. I think they get it done against a bit of a depleted Atlanta secondary. Now, Kendall Sheffield makes me scared every time I see him on the field. I think Tampa Bay should get it done and win by more than a touchdown here.
More talented team by far here, Tampa Bay coming into town. Just a little bit underperforming from me. Ronald Jones is second, also an inactive, so that's going to give Leonard Fournette the bulk of the carries, and also the aging wonder, LaShawn McCoy, third down duties in this game. We'll see how they perform on turf, but you're right. if you're spreading them out across the field in an already banged up secondary, I got Mike Evans on one side. I got Chris Godwin on the other side. I got Antonio Brown in the slot and also Scotty Miller, and then still have Gronkowski. Unless that pass rush comes in and crumbles the pocket, which it could, Tom Brady doesn't move all that well. There's so many weapons on the outside for Tom Brady to sort of dink and dunk or even throw bombs down the field, something to keep an eye on. But those first 3 games, it's pretty clear here. Some teams playing out the stretch for pride and some teams really playing for a lot more to try to make it into the NFL playoffs. Checking out the chat book here. Kind words by Mark Rock. We're winding down here. Just like to shout out Donnie and Kyle and Kelsey for another great year. It's fun. It's been a lot of fun this year doing the shows with Kyle, and certainly we'll be doing that much more into the future. Dave Laughlin says he loved the Ravens. We'll get to that in just a few minutes here, but thanks, guys, for chiming in. Vitalis, I'm with Donnie, +7s on the – it's a big number. It's a big number, Vitalis. In the division, 6.5 to 7 is big. But then again, as we talk about analytics and how they play into it, maybe 3 years ago, 7 was a huge difference. Now it just seems like teams go for 2 at the end of football games just to make it 6, and even saw it last night in the college football game. And by the way, just a PSA out here. If you watched the game last night between the Green Bay Packers and the Carolina Panthers, you didn't understand why Matt Rule kicked the field goal when he did, turn off your YouTube channel, start watching some soccer. Let's get back at it here. 354, New England and Miami. Cam Newton and Tua Tagovailoa. Opens up -3, Kyle. Dolphins headed for the playoffs, looking good. Ooh, now, hold on. Where's that? I don't have a phone with me right here, so I'm going to play with my remote as my phone. Let me call back to Tuesday. Boop, 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 boop. Hello? Devontae Parker and Jakeem Grant are having hamstring injuries. They're not going to be there on Sunday. Hang up the phone. Let's fast forward. Hey! Hamstring injuries and nobody's playing on Sunday? Fantastic stuff. Folks, when you hear hamstring on a player and it's within a week, cross them off. And you already can know they're not going to play, because if they do, they'll warm up as a game time decision, play 2 plays or be a decoy, or like in Miami's sake, athletes at skill positions with hamstrings don't play football. Just if you go right now in the dictionary, Kyle, and you open it up, Julio Jones sits right there under the word hamstring. That should tell you enough. Now look at this, -3s to -1s in the favor of New England now, a complete switchover. Are we changing our philosophy here? Because now it's Tua and a bunch of dudes versus New England. We do know Bill Belichick is extremely effective against rookie quarterbacks, but I have to tell you, my instincts tell me right now, you got to go New England, because the young rookie's going to have to put it all on his back and win this game, even though I do like the Miami Dolphins defense. And then if I take that with New England and I get shot put arm Cam Newton not being able to do anything, I'm going to slap myself. So as much as it wants me to push that trigger on New England and bet the New England Patriots, Kyle, I can't do it, because I know the limitations of that offense. Down Harris, who's their best overall offensive player.
Oh man, I can't do it. I don't know, man. I don't know why the universe this week is forcing me to like teams like New England, who I just can't figure out and can't stand betting on. You got to take, we'll get to Cleveland later. The universe is trying to, they're just doing their best to piss me off today, but
they're trying to get pain.
It's pain. And look at that total at 40.5. And I swear I like the under at 40.5. I can't, I'm not going to bet that. I'm completely staying the hell away from this game with my money, like just 100% running for the hills. But we're here to pick sides and pick numbers here. I got to take New England. So Lynn Bowden Jr. and,
and who? Yeah, exactly.
Adam Shaheen and Salvin Ahmed. When I got to think of the players who are going to play in the game,
you have quarterbacks at wide receiver. Like you have quarterbacks playing wide receiver today for them.
Exactly. I think both offenses struggle here. That New England secondary is pretty good, and I do expect some turnovers for Tua. I think he commits a turnover or 2 in this game, and I could see it the other way. Miami creates a turnover, it seems like, every single week. So I think the defenses are prominent in this game. If I had to pick a side, I just can't take Miami with all of those limited weapons. And that New England defense is ready to rock and roll, and just no one scares you on that Miami offense. So I guess I would lean the Patriots and the under here, but my God, it's a scary thought. And if you guys could do us a favor in the chat box, hit that like button for us so that the bosses know that you actually like us. And thank you for everyone out there. Over 350 already watching. We really appreciate all you guys. It's cool to do it here. And Vitalis is right. Bill Belichick's Patriots, 21-5 against rookie quarterbacks, 11-0 over the past 10 years. I think that defense gives them problems. I'm going to take the Patriots. It's some words I never thought I would say again this year, as I'm taking the Patriots, but I'm taking the Patriots.
Saints fans angry. Adam screwed him yesterday. Yeah, Woody must not have had any catches late in that game because he had a couple to start that football game. But you're right. I look at those statistics, and I know Bill Belichick's been really good against rookie quarterbacks. But then again, over the past 10 years, you had the best quarterback of all time in Tom Brady versus a rookie quarterback. So maybe that had a little bit more to do with it than actually Bill Belichick straight up against a rookie quarterback. We'll see how it plays out today, but you're looking at the over-under too, Kyle, 42.5. We're now down to 40s at some outlets across the board. If we had to have like our own odds, like build a prop, you see it popular on some of these websites. If you built a prop and said the longest play of this game, I'm talking both sides, running and passing, 30 yards. Do you take the over on that? It's got it. Like who's going deep and which quarterback's able to throw deep and who are they throwing to at this point?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless Lynn Bowden Jr., my pain play of the week, get that Lynn Bowden Jr. out there. But no, this game's going to be tough. This will be a game you probably won't see much of on Red Zone. And if you do, that means it's a really boring Sunday in the NFL. And you might just want, like you like to say, take your dog for a walk, take your wife to the mall, do something. Forget it. Because if you're watching New England, Miami over and over on Red Zone, things have gone horribly wrong, and it's time to just start the day over. Just start it. That's like having to use the bathroom after you get into the shower. You know, things have gone wrong. It's time to start the day entirely over. But oh God, I guess I'm taking the Patriots.
Dave Biz says, I can't hit the like more than once. Well, that's why you need like 10 accounts to pop in and out and rotate through, man. You see, that's the good part about it is I know Dave Biz isn't a troll because he would already know the answer to that. He probably would have like 9 other burner accounts out there. But it is, hey, thank you for the thumbs up. We do appreciate that. And no, like everybody in their mama type games, this is like that Ron Popeil play of the day where you bet it and you forget it and just walk out of the room, check the final score at the end of it and just see what pops off here.
That's right.
And look, New England's not really playing for the playoffs. Miami is scratching and clawing. If Brian Flores, and this isn't a big win if he wins it, but if he does, it just shows the stability of that organization to say, let me take all my weapons away. And you would figure, like, if he was really playing chess out here, he'd put Fitzpatrick in and be like, hey, look, I know you can magically make some things happen, throw some guys open. But he goes, no. My rookie's getting an ultimate test today. You're going to go up against a defensive mastermind with nothing out there. See if you can make some wizardry happen and pull us over. Now, the good thing is New England doesn't have much of an offense. So if you are the Miami Dolphins, you're not saying, Kyle, like, hey, kid, throw me to victory. It's like, let's take a look at the score, game, where are we at in field position, and let's play from there. It's going to be an interesting one to watch if you do like pain. But again, Kyle's right. If it appears on the red zone more than 2 times, I would be surprised because that means somebody's actually going to score in this game. Let's keep it moving into Washington here, 355, 356. And this is a game for me where I like to say everybody named mama, because as soon as you see, look, you guys know me, I can't stand. Alex Smith is a great guy. What an inspirational story. He's the comeback player of the year. Having said that, he should not be playing football, and his statistics prove it. But then again, you're not going to your young, hotshot first-round quarterback that you thought was going to be something who turned out to be nothing and saying, go out and win us a football game when I don't even know if you can read what a cover 2, cover 3, or man-to-man defense is. Dwayne Haskins going to take the field. Do you know what I get a chuckle out, Kyle, when I see the headline come across where Ron Rivera is coming out saying, we always had confidence in Dwayne Haskins. We know he can do a good job. Heck, I put a 35-year-old quarterback with one leg out there because I thought Dwayne Haskins was really good. And come on, man, we know you can't stand. Even midway through the season, they were making up COVID and sicknesses for Dwayne Haskins before the trade deadline because they didn't even want him around the football team. He's that much of a cancer. Now he's starting in a somewhat playoff race in the NFC East. They get bounced. For me, this is one of my everybody named mama games. Seattle by a touchdown here. If Dwayne Haskins hangs around or even beats Seattle, and I know people come in the chat, hey, that Washington defense, again, I said it Tuesday, unless Washington scores 2 touchdowns again on defense, they're not winning this game. Give me Seattle by a touchdown here, Kyle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anytime you're seeing Dwayne Haskins go, of course it's Seattle by a touchdown. And it would be Seattle by a touchdown. I love in the chat box, Alex Smith is just fine. Do you even watch these games? If you think Alex Smith is just fine.
There's 36 rated quarterbacks in the NFL. He's 35th. So go ahead, Kyle. Keep going.
Thank you very much. That's exactly my point, what I'm getting to. Yes, he's a great dink and dunker. I've watched every Alex Smith game since he was drafted. Okay, I'm a 49er fan. I've went through the pain of watching Alex Smith play. Now you have an immobile Alex Smith. Like, get the hell out of here with that. That is absolutely.
And I love him. He's a great guy. What an inspirational guy. He's got a huge paycheck. He is a winner in life, but a bad quarterback. Go ahead.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. And now you get Dwayne Haskins, who's just not ready for the NFL. And listen, if you're so eager to start Alex Smith on half a leg, And Kyle Allen, when he was there, you have no faith in this quarterback. You see what he does in practice. He's not ready for the NFL. You might get one or two big plays to Terry McLaurin. I don't want to waste too much time on this game. Seattle gets it done by a touchdown here.
Yeah,
absolutely a must-win for Seattle. They're still in this hunt for the 1 seed in the NFC. Give me Seattle by more than a touchdown. Dwayne Haskins will look terrible today.
I agree. And there's no weather conditions, weather concerns. And again, Washington does have a very good defense, but you're talking about a quarterback that can't throw you. It's still Russell Wilson on the opposite side. You can have the greatest pass rush in the world. He's going to be able to loot it and make plays. Their wide receivers, their offense coming in somewhat healthy today at wide receiver and running back. So the gang is all back, as we like to say. Even Carlos Dunlap making an appearance on the Seattle defense in situational pass rushing purposes. No crowd there to, sort of sway the opinion. Seattle, we already know the statistics, Kyle, on Seattle coming east and playing at 1 o'clock. It's damn near perfection. They'll be able to win this football game by a touchdown. Staying in the Beltway area, Jacksonville and Baltimore, Gardner Minshew going to get the start. And I got to say, I think a lot of people are sleeping on this Jacksonville football team because their record does stink, but partly because, A, they're not trying to win. Their defense is an actual sieve. But this offense, Kyle, if you line up like skill positions at wide receiver and running back, it's a pretty good functioning outlet. If you look at the Baltimore defense, down 2 of 3 starting cornerbacks, Calais Campbell not going to play today. You see how susceptible they already are to the air. You saw the Cleveland Browns take them apart. And even looking at, the offensive line is average here for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but we know that pass rush is certainly not what it once was even a few years ago in Baltimore. This is one of those sneaky team totals. We're taking a look at Jacksonville around that 16.5-point range. No weather concerns whatsoever, about 40 degrees. The rain looks like it's completely cleared out. Winds under 5 miles an hour. So we should be able to get some offense here. I like the over 45.5 in this game. There's no way in hell Jacksonville stopping Baltimore. And I think Minshew can make enough plays to approach that 20-point number. And I think that's all I need. I really like to see points in this game. I think we'll get there.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I like Jacksonville to cover. I think they backdoor cover. Do I think they win? No. Would it actually shock me if this game is close and they have a chance to win late? It won't. We've seen Jacksonville hang tough. It really won't. Baltimore are frauds. Let's just call it what they are. No, I love Lamar Jackson. They should run up and down the throat of Jacksonville today. And Jacksonville's defense, one of the worst in the league. There's no doubt about it. But like you said, that offense can move the ball. Baltimore's defense doesn't scare me anymore. That defense is not that good, especially without a healthy Calais Campbell. And now no Marcus Peters, no Jimmy Smith. We saw Jacksonville go into Lambeau Field. I think, most people would say right now Green Bay is a little bit better than Baltimore, pretty comparable, although it would be a bad matchup for Green Bay because they can't stop the run. I mean, Jacksonville with Jake Luton lost that game by 4 points in cold weather conditions in Lambeau Field. I like the way Jacksonville fights. I like that Minshew's coming back. I think they cover this game. I like Jacksonville, the plus 13 here. I think you're right about the over. I think there's points in this game. Neither defense impresses me all that much. I like Jacksonville to cover, and I like it to go over. And I will not be surprised if this is a 1-score game in the fourth quarter and Jacksonville has a shot. Do I think they get it done? Probably not. But I do think they'll be within that range in the second half where Scott Hansen. I can never remember which, if he's Scott.
Just call him Chris Hansen. Have a seat over there. Sure.
Yeah. Is it the Dateline guy or is it but I won't be surprised if he says we're in the witching hour and we have 4 1-score games and this is one of them. That won't surprise me.
And also, Ryan Johnson says Lamar going to get 200 yards rushing. They're going to be able to move the football. And, talking with Kyle also earlier in the week, it's one of those games where it's going to be hard for Jacksonville to force punts because even when you watch a really competent defense, it's still hard to hold Baltimore under 24 points. We know Jacksonville's not going to be able to do that today. And also another interesting part for, fantasy purposes, when we talked also this week about like Mark Ingram only getting 1 carry in the previous game, telling the coach, don't worry about it. He's actually a healthy scratch today. So those young boys are going to run. No, like 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I mean, Gus and J.K. Dobbins deserve the majority share of those runs. They're going to get that today. So I think they're going to be extra explosive on the ground. And also keep in mind early in the week, not sure if those wide receivers would come back from the COVID protocols. Everybody's set and ready to go on that offense from a skill perspective. And again, it bodes well because you like to have 2 teams that can run with each other because the one way, even though I do like the running back Robinson from Jacksonville, he might get slowed down a little bit, but those 4 wide receivers on the outside, they should be able to do some damage here. I do like points in this game, and I think we can certainly get there as well. Saints fans, Lamar's going to have a field day today. We'll see, but just have that propensity where you need points. You can't have the really, really bad Lamar, which sometimes we do see, where he has like 13 passing yards in the first half. I don't think that's the case today because it's not a very good pass rush, to just give a little bit of credit to Jacksonville or defense on the back end.
Yeah.
Should be some fun watching this. Let's flip it over to 1 o'clock. One of the bigger line movers of the week here also, Kyle. SPRodds.com opened up at multiple outlets a -1 for San Francisco. That immediately moved to the 2s and the 2.5s. Now we saw 3s later in the week, 3.5s as of last night. And now we busted through that and now sitting at 4 at a lot of outlets. And is it because people saw Zeke isn't playing, so now you can't take the Dallas Cowboys? Does anybody watch what the Dallas Cowboys are doing this year? The only explosive running back they have is actually Pollard. Now, look, they can't block anybody up front whatsoever, and I think the San Francisco front seven should have a decent day. But Zeke going up in the middle, if you take just one, series of the entire season of what the Cowboys' misery is, you could go back a couple weeks against the Baltimore Ravens. Late in the game, the Ravens up, over 2 scores. It's like 1st and goal from the 1. They handed the ball to Zeke 3 times up the middle, and he didn't score. That's the whole Dallas Cowboys season in a little nutshell here. Now we're taking a look. But Kyle, the pain comes in here for me bad because Raheem Mostert's going to be full go for this game. Brandon Ayuk's playing. Debo's down, which hurts. Still no George Kittle, who was activated in that 21-day practice window, maybe coming back next week. I think San Francisco expects to win this football game, and I think they do. But I don't want to close my eyes like this. I don't want to be looking and be like, God damn, Nick Mullen, I knew I bet on you again. This is what I got. Because you do have that. It's the same way we say with Drew Lock, like, Jesus Christ, Drew Lock. The same thing I get with Nick Mullins, but now he has to win the game by about a touchdown. Can he do that? That's a lot of pain for me, man. It's a lot.
Ooh, I am taking the pain. Now, I've been against my Niners for weeks, and I've been on the Cowboys a few weeks and gotten it right. So I feel good about this game. Nick Mullins is the new BDN. And let me tell you something. The Cowboys defense, they can't stop the run, and they certainly can't stop the pass. So I know the 49ers without Debo Samuel. They're also without Jason Verrett, which hurts a little bit on the back end of that secondary. He and Richard Sherman really good on the outside. They're a little bit weaker in the slot with Mosley and Dante Johnson, etc. But I just don't think there's anything the Cowboys defense can do that is going to make Nick Mullins panic and make those sort of strange Nick Mullins plays that he does. So I am taking the 49ers. I actually think this game could get to the over. I think both teams can get into the 20s. Losing Verrett, I think, is going to make things easier for Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb on the back end of this defense. I think my 49ers run the ball extremely well on this team. Raheem Mostert there, Jeff Wilson Jr., they should both have nice games. Dallas can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. Give me my boy Nick Mullins in a comfortable spot. I spent a lot of time the last, several days watching all the old 49ers Cowboys game, the catch, of course, the robbery in the 92 NFC Championship game, the heartbreak in the 93, the monkey off the back in 94, the pay dirt play, Elvis Gerbach to Jerry Rice in 95, the 80-yard little crossing. I mean, so many great moments in this rivalry, and I love this rivalry. Give me my 49ers today. They get it done by a touchdown. They get to 6-8, and there's no playoff hopes here, but they're not losing to the Dallas Cowboys. Niners pound them today by 10 or more points, 30-20, going back to that 1995 season, 30-20, 49ers over the Cowboys.
30. I don't know. I'm in such in the best thing I can say about this game is I already have action in for the day. And usually when we're doing a show live here on the air, I can't take and go to a different website and plug stuff in and not give you guys my honest effort. So I thank the Lord right now that this game is at 1 o'clock and I haven't bet it yet, which means I'm probably not going to have enough time to actually bet it by the time the game kicks off. But I don't want to be kicking myself because in a perfect world, we know what the Dallas Cowboys are on defense. They can't stop anything. You are getting one of the best home run hitting running backs, apparently not injured anymore after getting an MRI on his ankle on Monday or Tuesday. He should be able to get off. Brandon Ayuk is a really good young wide receiver. Somebody has 6.5 catches. You're asking for 7 catches. Can he do it? Yes, but I'm not looking for Mullins to throw me to victory. I'm just looking for a good offensive line that San Francisco has, a really good running game, and work off the play action. Could he get 7 catches? Of course he could, but it seems like a little bit high for my blood in this one. But I just see like that tip ball Nick Mullins interception. The pass rush isn't coming, but I'm already feeling it. So I'm piston feeding myself in the pocket, and I overthrow Ayuk for like a 15-yard gain. Because you saw last 2 weeks, Jordan Reed getting visibly upset on the field like, bro, I'm open. Just throw me the football right here, not like, 10 yards over my head. It just gives me sweats thinking about that. Because the threes, the 2.5s, all right, because I do think San Francisco is going to win this game. But now when I see the 4, Kyle, it just sort of jettisons me off in one direction. Like, I need Nick Mullins. And again, like that meme, Grand Theft Auto, like, oh, man, here we go again. Like, I can't be taking that today. I just can't do it.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're crazy at all. But I'm going to give the belief and the hope in Nick Mullins today. And again, it's such a cake matchup. And Money Channel, just a wonderful guy here in the chat, just a great attitude. Please put your entire mortgage, put your Christmas, put everything in your future on the Cowboys today. I would love to see that pain for you. Trust me, I'll be rooting for you. 49ers dominate this game. Give me the Niners. So excited about my Niners today. Let's go.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Akbar says, am I drinking the – of course. Like, I live on – I should be sponsored by Monster with how much I buy and get through. And again, I'm not like a 6-can-a-day guy. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. I'm old. Something's got to keep me going here. You know, people come on the air with us and call me like I could be as old as their father, you know. Sometimes you got to stick up for yourself and say, hey, I'm not that old. Are we that old, Kyle, by the way?
Oh, we're that. Apparently, we're old enough to be Kelsey's dad, from what I found out on Twitter. By the way, Ryan Johnson, I was being sarcastic. I was telling someone to do that because I wanted him to feel the pain. But, and to answer my buddy 5 times question, Batch, Fournette or Claypool, I think they're both good plays. I love the matchup for Claypool and LaShawn Sims on Monday night. The question is, how much will the Bengals give back with Ryan Finley there? I'd probably lean Claypool. I'd go with your studs and go with Claypool.
And by the way, this show is called The Closing Line here. We talk NFL action. Once the NFL season ends, like my 2 dads, right? Can we do that, Kyle? Can we pull that off on SBR?
Absolutely, 100%. Or Perfect Strangers. I'll be Balky Bartakamus.
We're gonna put that in. Bosom Buddies. I mean, there's a lot of old 80s episodes we can get after here. But how about this one? Now look, this is one of those games where when I readjust myself in my chair, get a little bit of stretch on, the pain is about to hit, and I know it's coming. Now you sit in the dentist chair, and they're like, all right, they give you the Novocaine, which is okay, but you hear the drill start. And already you start gripping the handles of the chair. You don't know when the pain is going to hit, but you know the pain is about to be like just unbearing if they hit that one nerve. The nerve is coming today, and that's on the New York Jets here. It's going to be extremely painful. You have a devastating pass rush coming up the middle from Aaron Donald and 3 guys from guard, center, and guard that can't block anybody. You have a quarterback that is known for seeing ghosts. You have wide receivers that are banged up, which it's a 4:00 game. I wouldn't be surprised at like 2:00. Hey, coach, man, I'm good. Let me preserve myself. I want to enjoy Christmas. So that comes into the equation. Every once in a while in your life, a team total flashes in front of you like this. It's like, all right, up on the marquee. Donnie, don't miss the boat on this. You're going to be so pissed at the end of the game that you didn't take the Jets team total over 10.5 minus 135 in that range. Because when they have 14 at the break, you're going to have to take your dog for a walk. And then those flashbacks hit so hard when the pain is starting to settle in. You don't know how you can bear it. And then you look at the box scores for the Jets and see 2 out of the last 3 weeks, they scored 3 points in games. The 10.5 is on the table because I'm not even looking at this game as a 17. I think the Jets get their doors absolutely blown off. The over-under is interesting because, again, you're talking about a Jets team that might not find the end zone today and a kicker that's been known to miss like 4 to 5 times in a game. Are we crazy enough, and do we have to bet the team total over for the Jets today, Kyle? Do we have to? Is it a must?
We don't. It's a must for me because I don't like the pain, but the pain likes me, baby. And I took it as soon as you sent that tweet out that it was 10.5. I am an absolute glutton for punishment. Listen, I did it last week at 16.5. Here's what's going to happen. The Jets are notorious. They're going to go down on the first drive of the game. They're going to look really good on offense, right? They're probably get a field goal. I think they've scored 6 straight games on their opening possession, right? So you're just like, oh, no problem. Now I just need a couple little things here. Bada bing, bada boom. They hit that total. Then you're going to have a couple missed field goals. You're going to have, Adam Gase on 4th and 3, hand the ball off the front door. Yeah, exactly. Up the middle for 1 yard, and it's all going to go away. And then you can all laugh at me. But you're damn right. I took that 10.5. Betting this game, just stay the hell away from this game. If you want to add the Rams to the money line, it'll add like 5 cents to your money line parlay. It's not going to add much. Maybe if you just want to throw it in there as like your 8th or 9th piece there, just to add some juice to it, that's fine. Otherwise, there's no reason to bet this damn game. Maybe the first half, but unless you're an idiot like me and just want to have some fun with the Jets and take the pain, which I'm going to do, stay the hell away from this game.
It's actually moved up a little bit here because the 10.5, which was as low as 133 early yesterday morning, that 10.5 is up to 162, which means out there, Kyle, there's a lot of people like me and you that are like, you know what? Instead of sitting back and enjoying my Sunday afternoon, I just want to take body shots left and right, unprotected, and just take uppercuts to the jaw because it means a lot more to win that $100 or whatever you bet out here. Like, as you can go to your family next week at Christmas Eve or Christmas. Hey, Donnie, how was your week? Let me tell you about my week on Sunday. I threw down on the Jets team total and I won. And people go like, like everybody takes a deep breath in the room. Like, unbelievable. Yes, is that the perfect sharp money move? The equivalent of sharp money is not to take like the Rams in this game. It's take the Jets team total because nobody wants to touch it. But then as I say that, you see that line go up each and every week. These are some of the fun games we talk about because you got to play into it. What more can we cap? Like, hey, Rams by 21. Like, no, the people want to know where that pain should come from and if you should take the Jets. So everybody in this chat box today is actually going to go at 4 o'clock instead of watching the Eagles, instead of watching the big game today, Kansas City. They're going to have in the back of their mind like, did Donnie Kyle hit that Jets team total over?
Oh, yeah. Damn right. Yeah. Damn right. We're going to hit it, or it's going to be 9. He's going to go 3 for 7 on field goals. He's going to miss 4, make 3, and we'll miss it by 1.
It's always good stuff. Let's get to the better games here in the afternoon. And again, 44, I don't really have any fear. If I'm going to take a bet, it probably would be on the Rams because I know the Jets have just given up. But I think it's more fun to try to look on the alternative side and say, can the Jets actually move the football and see what they have? 3 games left on the Sunday card and the Monday card. We might be able to hit that if you have a little bit of time here. 360, 360, 364. 3 good games to talk about in a row because these games all mean something to either one of these teams. Both teams fighting for the playoffs in this one, Kansas City, New Orleans as well. And same thing with Cleveland and the New York Giants. Let's start with the Eagles here. Jalen Hurts, what we liked last week. Passing game, okay, but he did what he was asked to do. You're coming up against a really good pass rush in the New Orleans Saints. We need you to run around, kid, and use your legs. He did that and did it extremely well. 17-0 at the break. You saw the second half in that game where Jalen Hurts still used his legs and a hungry performance by the defense after losing 3 of 4 starters, and you saw it leak away. The 17-0 turned into 17-7, 17-14. Oh no, here they go, crossing midfield again. A nice 4th down stop for the Eagles that propelled them to a victory, but those guys aren't making it back. You got a safety and Rodney McLeod that tore his ACL. You had Darius Slay, by far their best cornerback, who would be willing to go one-on-one with anybody in the league for good or for worse. He's not making it to the starting line. He is out today. Avonte Maddox, your other starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, he is out. On an already decimated poor secondary, you're down 3 out of 4 guys on the back end, and now you get a healthy Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. It's going to be tough to stop that offense for Arizona, but more specifically, Kyle, I want to focus on Jalen Hurts. You just can't expect unless you're the Ravens, who have a complete running game, a complete offensive line, and a whole philosophy and organization that works. You're plugging this into week 2 and saying, Jalen, need you for about $130 on the ground, no mistakes on offense, and throw for about 200 yards. I'm not sure he can do it this week, and I wouldn't be upset if he didn't do it because that is a huge ask. So when I look at the lines here that open up at 5.5 and quickly go to 6 and 6.5, I agree. I would be shocked in this game if Arizona did not win this game by a touchdown or more because everything is going against the Eagles. Where are the stops in the secondary going to come from? And now you have game tape on Jalen Hurts by saying, hey, look.
Right.
New Orleans blitzed him a lot last week. He found those lanes. What happens if we mush rush Jalen Hurts here? Who is getting open? Fulgham has been invisible for the past 5 to 6 weeks. Alshon Jeffrey is, all intents and purposes, a washed-up wide receiver. Zach Ertz's ankle is still tied up. Dallas Goedert is an okay tight end. Yeah, you have Miles Sanders, but if you're not blitzing, where are those run concepts going to come from? Tough game for the Philadelphia Eagles. I do think they play hard because they've been doing that all year. I just think the talent disparity in the secondary, Kyle, holds up Philadelphia in this game. Arizona by a touchdown.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. They just aren't going to be able to stop this passing game of Arizona. And, what's the strength of the Philadelphia Eagles? It's that pass rush, one of the better pass rushes in the league. Well, so now do you want to take a secondary that can't cover anyone? You're going to have to probably play a lot of zone. That's what they did against the Saints last year, and they left Slay on an island. You can't do that this week. So Hopkins should eat, Kirk should eat, Fitz should eat. They should all eat. Now you bring pressure and you force Kyler Murray out of the pocket. What's going to happen? He is going to gash you in the run game as well. Very tough sledding for the Eagles this week. I know you're going to get an honest effort out of them. The Eagles, one thing you know about the Eagles, they may stink. Their receivers may stink. Their quarterbacks may stink, whatever you want to say. They fight for they're going to fight for your dollar. So if this was 7.5 or 8, I'd probably start leaning the Eagles here. But it being under a touchdown, it makes me like Arizona. I also don't think you're crazy to buy this to 5.5. Arizona's going to be without their kicker, Zane Gonzalez, so it's Mike Nugent. Some kicking issues there. There's nothing worse than, maybe maybe this game's closer than you think. Arizona scores that go-ahead touchdown to go up by 7, and they miss the extra point. It is something to keep an eye on when you're going with backup kickers and kickers off the street, et cetera here. But just too much for Arizona. They're finally healthy. Too many weapons. Too many injuries again for the second. It feels like every year, late in the year, we're like, man, the Eagles are decimated by injuries at the important spots. Last year was the wide receivers and the defensive backfield. This year, the wide receivers, I suppose, are a little bit healthy. They're still not any good. But, you got to take Arizona here, and you got to take them by a touchdown.
If you're looking for a Philadelphia angle in here, and the one that makes the most sense is Arizona does have a really bad defense. And I think we're looking even last week like, hey, Arizona fixed everything. They went against the Giants, and the Giants only scored 7. You're talking about the Giants who had Colt McCoy in that football game and Daniel Jones with a sprained ankle and a hamstring injury. So you're talking about the least mobile options with a horrible offensive line as the New York Giants were giving you. Now you're going to flip it over. The Eagles' offensive line is horrendous as is, but at least you're not going to be able to just beat a tackle and just go maul the quarterback that's standing in the pocket and can't get out of the way. Jalen Hurts will be able to run around. So if you're looking for a guiding light, look overall at what Arizona's actually done on defense, not last week against a ridiculously bad New York Giants football team. A lot of people asking out here, yes, we did skip over the Minnesota game, so let's get that to them now. 357, 358, Chicago and Minnesota, Mitchell Trubisky and Kirk Cousins. I'm going to keep on the same playing field I did. I don't really like Mitchell Trubisky as a quarterback, but he can function against bad defenses. He's going to get another bad defense today. I do think so. If we look across the board, 3.5 where it opened up at, goes to 3s, now 2.5 with 3s with light juice. You're asking Trubisky to go on the road and win a football game. Do I think he can do it? I think he can, but we're also taking a look at a sort of a downgrade. You're looking at, Chicago's only won 1 game over like the past 2 months. So we give them a lot of credit for beating the Houston Texans, who had nobody last week at home, outdoors in the cold. So let's take a little bit of a step back and realize what Chicago's actually doing. They'll be able to function on offense, but if we're going to put up both offenses side by side, it's clearly the Minnesota offense is a much, much better version. They are at home. And I think a lot of people, Kyle, will also take a look at last week and say, well, Minnesota dropping out of the playoffs. They lost by double digits, blah, blah, blah. You didn't watch that football game. Minnesota's actually the better football team on the field. They just didn't have any special teams with them. I think those issues hopefully will be corrected today in a dome at home. I think Minnesota does win this game, but I'm looking at that 47 as a total. I would be really surprised, Kyle, if both of these teams don't get into the 20s, which gives you that shot at 47. I like the over in this game.
Yeah, and you talk about 3 starters out in Chicago secondary as well. So you take Jefferson and Thielen in that passing game. Of course, no Kyle Rudolph, but Irv Smith's you'd probably rather have Irv Smith for explosive plays at tight end anyways in this game. So I agree with the over 47. I think Minnesota gets it done. Again, you're talking Mitchell Trubisky on the road. Is the Vikings defense any good? No. Are they minus their best defensive player? Yes, they've been bad all year long, but I think at home, 1:00 game, I trust Kirk Cousins much more in those sort of situations. Sort of some of the pressure's off. They still have an outside shot at getting into the postseason, so they're playing to keep their postseason hopes alive here. So, the 2.5, the number's a little too short for me. I think the Vikings get it done by a field goal. It is interesting that it's 2.5, right? Because you saw the kicking woes from Minnesota last week. And so when you see that 3 and you're playing through that 3 and 7, you're relying on the kicker making a kick or two. Let's hope he doesn't have that problem this week. But I agree with you, the over 47, and I like the Vikings here to get it done by a field goal or more.
Nah, it's great stuff here, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please feel free to do so. Also, if you watch on a replay, which again, at the end of the day, the show doesn't really hold up because obviously we're capping today's games and so forth. But if you're watching on a replay, hit those thumbs up, even if you're doing it. If you haven't done so live, we do thank you for guys as well. And as Erica Royals points out, almost to 100 thumbs up. We will get there by the end of the show. Game of the day. I think it's pretty easy to circle the wagons and say this is the one everybody's waiting for, and a lot of intrigue as well, Kyle. 365, 366, Kansas City and New Orleans. Patrick Mahomes coming on the road in a dome, a couple hundred fans, if that, down in New Orleans. Not really going to be a big impact because of a game of this magnitude where both of these teams are either playing for the AFC top seed or the NFC top seed. This place would be a house on fire down in New Orleans with screaming, blazing fans just having their all. That's not going to be the case today, and that is a big deal and a big issue. When I initially look at this line, -3s, -2.5s, I just break down and say, do you think Kansas City when do you ever think Kansas City cannot win a football game? It's never.
Exactly.
So you automatically are leaning towards Kansas City. Now you find out Drew Brees was taking all the snaps. He feels really good, which is fine and okay because he's a competent NFL quarterback, even at his old age, Hall of Famer, who'll be able to move the football against Kansas City. The only issue is, boy, once you finally get, Michael Thomas back, you're able to move the football. That's the 3rd and 9 guy that'll guarantee to get you 11 yards, even in double coverage. He's not there. So now you're leaning on Emmanuel Sanders, who should still have a decent game. And again, not the greatest defense in the world for Kansas City. You have an elite offensive line that should be able to protect Drew Brees, Latavius Murray, Alvin Kamara, and even your switchblade in the backfield, Taysom Hill. Interesting part about today, Kyle, is Jameis Winston in COVID protocol. So now Taysom Hill still is the true number 2 quarterback, which, again, brings a little bit of questioning here because do you have Taysom Hill still play that position? Because if he goes down, your quarterback broke 11 ribs only a month ago, and that guy goes down. Is it Alvin Kamara and the Wildcat the rest of the game? So that's also a negative there for the New Orleans team. But I know a lot of, sharps banking on New Orleans. They're going to give a good effort. They have a really good pass rush. And also this game comes in at 425. Keep an eye on because already 1 tackle is down for Kansas City with the chance for another starting tackle being out. That could be huge. So keep an eye on who's in and who's out coming lately. But to keep it simple in this game, I'm going to watch. I'm going to enjoy it. It's a fantastic matchup. But when I look at a number around 3 or 2.5, you can't tell me I'm not taking Kansas City here in this environment. I have to. It's a must.
You have to. Now, look, we've been off the Chiefs the last few weeks in terms of those 7, 8, 9-point spreads, and it's worked out for us. They're not beating teams like that. But should they can't beat New Orleans by a field goal or more? Absolutely. You got to take the Chiefs here. They're the best team in football. I'm a little surprised New Orleans is rushing Drew Brees back. So he's not 100%. They've already said that.
That's Drew Brees. Look at all these stats I'm missing out on, Kyle. I don't care.
That's what it is, right? He's looking at Brady ahead of him in that career touchdown passes, right? And he's like, okay, he's getting a little too far ahead. But when you look at Kansas City, it's not a great defense, and they struggle against the run. You're not going to have Michael Thomas. So now you're rushing Drew Brees back when really what you should be doing today without your best weapon on the outside is running the football, keeping Mahomes on the sideline and bringing that pass rush. I think that plays into a Taysom Hill game, and you give Brees 1 more week. I think it's a little bit weird that they're bringing him back. I love that it's moved the line. I mean, the guy hasn't played an NFL game in 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks here. He's got broken ribs, etc. He's playing against the best team in the NFL. It feels like a little bit much to me. They're rushing him back some. If Brees had been healthy the whole time and we're looking at a 3 here, I would certainly be interested in Drew Brees at home in New Orleans. I love Drew Brees at home. First game back, there's going to be some rust. No Michael Thomas. Now you're dealing with Traquan Smith, Emmanuel Sanders. Of course, Alvin Kamara jumps up the fantasy radar. Of course, he becomes a great play this week. But if it's under a field goal, I'm taking Kansas City every time. I think they're the best team in the league. They should win every game they play. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, to William Small in the chat box, I think he brings up a pretty good point here on the under, because I know everybody is trained on their eyes to look at both of these offenses to say, why can't we get 28 and 28 from each side and we easily cash this over? We're looking at that 53.5 number, which is very interesting because when you take a look at pathways to victory here, Kyle, I don't think the pathway for the Saints is Drew Brees, 45 passing attempts, 420 yards, and 3 scores. I think it's Alvin Kamara. I think it's Latavius Murray. I think it's short, quick passes, which means 3, 4, 5 first down drives, which means 6 to 7 minutes off the clock. We know Kansas City can score quick. And would it surprise me if the game ends up in the 60s? No, it won't. But I'm just looking to try to play it out in my mind saying, all right, one team's goal, the New Orleans Saints, is not to say, boy, we've been waiting on this with our injured quarterback and our best wide receiver down to shoot it out with Kansas City. That doesn't work out that well. That turns into a 34-30 loss that you try to shoot it out. We know Kansas City can get up there. Limit the damage from Patrick Mahomes. Keep the ball on the ground with Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray. You're going to bring in your gadget plays with Taysom Hill to 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s. Move the chains is what it's about today for the New Orleans Saints. That's the way I see that playing out. Last game we'll get to today, 361, 362. Night football tonight, Cleveland and the New York Giants. For December, you're going to have good weather, Kyle. 34 degrees, no precipitation, and winds under 5 miles an hour in the Meadowlands. I think Cleveland and Baker Mayfield will be able to operate unimpeded. No James Bradbury. You're looking at Colt McCoy starting. And even if you say, like, hey, Cleveland doesn't have to throw the football, which they did at will against the Baltimore Ravens last week. What better option to salt a game away and win convincingly than give it to Kareem Hunt and also Nick Chubb in the backfield, that beast offensive line? Cleveland by 7+ in this game. It sits at 6.5, opened up at 5. Pick six contest, I actually got it at the 5. They win by a touchdown this game. Colt McCoy's not leading this team to victory. And again, if the Giants think they're going to do one of those, Kyle, hey, let's not even score in the first half and see what happens in the second. Good luck. Cleveland's going to beat them by 7.
Yeah, the James Bradbury loss is huge as well because that's the main cog in that secondary. Such a good shutdown corner for them on the outside. I got it at 5 as well, just like you did, but I still don't mind Cleveland by a touchdown. Do I still think the Browns are frauds? Absolutely. If Daniel Jones was healthy and the Giants' defense was healthy, would I be going the other way in this game? 100%. 100%. I'd be taking the damn Giants. You know I would be at home. I'd take that home underdog. But just too many injuries for the Giants. Cleveland should roll here. I like them by more than a touchdown. Anytime I get to bet against Colt McCoy, I'm game. Give me Cleveland in this one.
No, and I certainly agree with you. So a couple minutes after to get you guys off to that 1 o'clock kickoff. Thank you for spending your Sunday with us. Couple plays that I have today. And again, in a paint by numbers world here, I'm going to go with 2 of them. Seattle -6 over the Washington Redskins for a show play. And also we just talked about the football game. Cleveland and the New York Giants, the -6.5. I think Cleveland wins that game by a touchdown. Yes, I'm going with 2 road teams. Yes, 2 teams on the East Coast. But again, no fans really in the stands to impede anything here. I got the much better quarterback on both sides of the field. I'm going that way. Seattle by a touchdown, Cleveland by a touchdown. That's a 2-0 week for me. What are you looking at, Kyle?
And I agree with both of those, so we can just double down on both of those. I like those quite a bit. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs -3. I think they get it done against the New Orleans Saints today. I think you can sign me up for that. Another one I like, I think Jacksonville covers this 13. I'm going to take Jacksonville to cover the 13 points against the Baltimore Ravens, have a little bit of fun there. And if we're going to take another show play, I think the Vikings get it done by -2.5 over the Bears as well. Oh, and my 49ers, of course. My 49ers.
And we have to leave it out. Like some things don't have to be said here. There is another show play that's not technically Kyle's or my own. The show play is the New York Jets team total over 10.5. I don't even care if it's -160. We're on it. The 10.5 is such a ridiculous number. The show will be on the team total for the Jets. Thank you guys for tuning in for another Sunday. We'll do it again tomorrow. And by the way, we're going to be the best entertainment tomorrow when the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Enjoy your week and get it started early with us as we watch the game together. Christmas week, Christmas Eve, a lot of holidays going around. Maybe Kyle and myself will partake in some alcoholic beverages to have some fun. But once again, thanks for tuning in. So many people have supported the show all throughout the season. We're rolling right towards the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Kyle Purviance. We are sportsbookreview.com, and this has been your closing line show for Week 15. Go Jets, go.
Go Jets.